welcome to a new vlog. This is going to be a huge garden update from March and April. Lots of new things in the garden, huge raised beds, the start of the cutting garden and kitchen garden, lots of new shrubs, plants, seeds, bulbs, everything you can think of. So here I am starting a wildflower bed. I did this just while I was waiting for the raised beds to be delivered. So I had this felt sort of liner for a while now. So I filled that with compost. And then on each of the corners I was going to add some canes just to put a net over the top because there are lots of birds in my garden, and obviously I've got the cow, which I didn't want her using this as like a litter tray. So I mixed all the seeds together and then sprinkled them as evenly as I could over the compost. I then put in the canes in each of the four corners, ready for the netting to go on the top. This was just a net that I bought, again, ages ago. It was supposed to be for a cherry tree to stop the birds nicking the cherries, but I didn't use it, so I'm using it for this for the time being. So I thought this would be quite handy. So this is the smallest of the raised beds. So this is made from sleepers. They've been specially treated so that they can go outside and have the elements on them. I got these for my birthday. They're just to put at the beginning of the garden to create some really lovely borders. My plan is to have some lovely grasses in these, some alliums and some evergreens as well, just so that there's something all year round. We had quite a few trips to garden centres, B&Q, different places, so I bought a new terracotta pot and a new saxifrage, and then I also got this little wildflower, a ragged robin, and I also got the grass that you saw earlier. So I got all these for the garden, not specifically for the raised beds. So that was a nice little haul. So we managed to put this together ourselves. It was part of a kit, so it comes pre-drilled and it comes with all the screws and things that you need. We just had to level it. So here are the alliums that I bought. I'd already potted them up once because they were growing really well while I was waiting for the raised beds to be delivered. So we added the compost in the bottom and then we put the alliums in. I didn't actually use this grass in this bed in the end. I used it in the bigger bed. But this is the kind of look I'm going for. Had lots of compost that we got ready to fill up the raised beds. This is the largest raised bed, which is 180 by 120 centimetres. And then the smaller one was 120 by 90 centimetres. We had another trip to B&Q and I got this lovely rose. This geranium, it's a white geranium. That's just going to go into a pot. The rose is to go into one of the borders. And I also got this, which was some evergreen to go in the raised beds. I thought it wasn't a box because I didn't want a box because of the caterpillars and the problems that you have, but it ended up being a box. So I'm going to get some different ones for the rest, and obviously that grass as well. So here's the saxifrage potted up into this pot, which looks really great. My garden is south facing, so it gets quite hot. Here's an update on the tulips. They're coming on quite well. Towards the end of the vlog you'll see how lovely they are when they actually come out. Then I've got some bluebells coming up, which is lovely. So this was back in March. And then I've got all my seeds. So I've got some cosmos here, some what is it called? Scabriosa here, some stock, some sweet peas. I've got my geranium potted up. I've also got some dahlias that I've potted up, the tubers. One's for me and one's for Mum. And then I've also got this, which is going in the front garden, but I've just popped it in a pot for the time being. That was a bare root, so that just needed potted on because it started to shoot. So we're getting loads of things done in the garden at the moment. I'm trying to get all of my seeds sown, ready for the cutting garden. So this is the raised beds. We've put, I think, 2 bags of compost already in there. This is the 3rd bag. I'm going to be adding more compost every kind of season to build up the level. Just because I didn't want to buy tons and tons of soil to begin with. I'll just gradually build it up. I'm going to put some organic stuff in there in between, and then probably in the winter I'll mulch it maybe with some bark or something like that, just to keep it going. So this is the 3rd bag that we are doing in the raised bed. So it's looking good now. So as I say, this is going to have alliums in it, grasses. So here's the alliums that I potted on. So I'm going to place those in there and then put the grass in there. I'm going to try and have a grass on each corner. The alliums in the middle, and then some evergreen just sort of like around the edges. I've got a Pinterest board with my ideas on it. So I'm going for like a Cotswoldy country garden look. So I've got some inspiration on there. Obviously, gradually over time, I'll add some more alliums, some different kinds. And as I say, I've just got one grass at the moment. So this is a ponytail grass, which looks lovely. And then this is that box, which I didn't think was a box or a boxes. So I'm going to plant these up and get this bed going. So it's going to match the smaller bed as well, so that I'll have grasses in it, a little bit of evergreen and the alliums in it, so that they match. We did have to raise this. My garden is on a slope, so we did have to raise one of the sides a little bit more than the other. But I'll show you later in the vlog how we're going to make it look good. So this is a little bee that was having a sunbathe on one of my plants. It came back each day and did that. Then I decided to plant some more seeds. So these are I think these are my March seeds that I'm sowing. I'm a bit late. So we've got 2 different kinds of sunflowers, some bunny tails, which I'm going to try and put into the raised beds, some cornflowers, and also this allium, which I'm going to be putting into the raised beds once they've been grown a little bit. They don't flower till next year. And then some gypsophilia for the cut garden. So here are my seeds sown. I did run out of labels here, so a couple of them are labelled and the others aren't. They're represented by stones. This is my geranium, so it's been potted up for a while now and it's got some buds on it. These are my little violas, which are doing really well. I just make sure I deadhead them every so often. And these are the bluebells, so these are coming on well. So you would have seen these just as little bits in the beginning of the vlog. Some more violas. This one is starting to flower, which looks nice. And then you can see my saxifrage has come on really well. Really liking that position. And then this is what I'm going to be doing around the edge of the raised bed. So I'm making a little alpine rose with some grits and some alpine plants. I've got some phlox. This is I can't remember what that's called. That's a albrecia, which will flower purple. That's the phlox, and then this is some other alpine which I can't think of the name of, but that will flower with peach flowers. And then over this side I've got a veronica which will flower in blue flowers. Then you can see my other viola pot, the one that was really natural with all the moss and everything, that's flourished really well. These are my bluebells as they've flowered, so they've come on really well. So this is like a few weeks later. Then this is the blossom on my apple trees. So my apple trees have done really well. This one in particular, this is the Discovery one. So I've got some lovely blossom on this, which I didn't think I would for the first year. But that's exciting. This is the wildflower bed. So this is sprouting really well. A lot of them are Californian poppies at the moment. But hopefully we can find the other poppies, the cornflowers and the linara soon. Then the alliums are coming on really well, so you can see the buds popping out of the top here and the leaves have developed really well. So they've been coming on well, so they've settled into the bed nicely and grown as they should. Then here we have a peony coming up and a euremus, so they're doing well at the moment. And then these are the alliums in the raised bed that I did right back in, I think, January. So these alliums are coming up. These are going to be really big, these ones. And then we have, this is a jasmine that I bought. So this is going to go on the other side of the garden on the right hand side, where the brick wall is and then the fence is halfway. So this should really like it in this position. So I bought one in flower just so that I knew that it would flower. And then this little tub has got some violas in it. I've sprinkled some wildflower seeds on the top and they've started to come up. And also the tulips have started to come up. So these are feather tulips, so that'll be interesting to see what they're like. This is my skimmia, so this flowered and then I cut the flowers off and we've got some new leaves. Bluebells are doing well. This lovely little natural viola pot's doing great. My rosemary's doing really well. These are the tulips that were at the beginning of the vlog. So these have started to bud now and grow up nice and tall. This is my saxifrage again and my little ice plants. This is my hellebore. So obviously this is coming to the end of the season for the hellebore. Then we've got more tulips and a new little lavender plant, which I bought and put in a pot. And then we've got this, which is a bleeding heart plant, and this is for the front garden. This is my dahlia, so this is coming on really well, so it's got some little shoots on it. So this is again a few weeks later. I've bought a new grass, so this is for the small bed. Again, the alliums are coming on well. The little veronica on the alpine edges are doing well. I got this one half price at the local garden centre. This is the big bed, the large raised bed. The alliums are coming on well here. The grass has settled in really well. So that's looking good. And then we've got the albrecia, which has started to bud. Then we've got, this is, I think, is a primula. So this is flowered, that's good. The phlox is doing really well, it's starting to spread, which is what we wanted. And this little one is doing well as well. And I've also sprinkled some seeds along there as well. So again, this is the euremus, which is coming up great. And the peony, there's another little leaf coming up there. And then we've got our woodland anemones, so they're doing well. We've got some the alliums in there. And we've also got some astrantia, I think these are, coming up. This is a little erigeron, which come from my mum's garden. The magnolia's doing really well. I've given it some ericaceous compost on the top because I saw on Monty Don on Gardener's World that that's what they need. This is a nice little alpine plant. This is the rose that I bought, so I finally put it into the border. So this is coming on well. It's got some new leaves, so that's doing really well. This plant was in a pot and I've popped it in the garden just because it was in a tiny little pot and it was struggling a little bit with the heat of the garden. So I've popped it in the border and it's gone a lot better. It's flowered more and established itself more. And then these are more seeds. So some of them are still the ones that are growing on from before. And I've planted more seeds and they've grown. So they're all for the cutting garden. The jasmine has come on really well. I've staked that and tied that in. The agapanthus is coming on. You can see the green leaf here. So that's doing well. Then we've got the buddleia. So that's doing well. That's grown quite a bit. Not as much as I thought, but we're getting there with it. Then we have a little, can't think what that's called. I'll come back to that. Then we've got the philodendrus, I think it is. That's struggling a little bit, but hopefully it'll be okay. So the blossom is coming out on the apple tree, so that's really good. Apple tree is doing amazingly well. It's got lots of leaves on it, some new shoots, the blossom, and it's bushing up nicely. We've got the achillea, which come from mum as well, so that's doing really well. It's got some new leaves coming up out of it. We've got some woodland anemones down there. The skimmia is hanging on at the moment. We'll see. These were only from the pound shop, so if they don't work, they don't work, but we'll give them a go. This is the other apple tree. This is a little bit behind the other one, but it's growing some leaves. There's no blossom at the moment. And then this is the honeysuckle. This has done really well. This is flowered and everything. It's looking really green and healthy, so that's good. So here's an update on the wildflower bed. So we've got some Californian poppies, some of the cornflowers are coming through, the other poppies and the lanaria are coming through, so that's worked really well. It seems to like it there. Then this is the start of the new cutting garden. So these are the raised beds for that. So I got these from Wickes. So I got 3 large ones and 1 small one. The only thing with these ones is you do have to paint them because they're not treated. So I got some fence paint and painted them. This is the colour Willow. So this is the area that I've got to clear. So I've got to clear this grass before I can start putting the bed down. These are my camellias, which are out the front in pots by the front door. So these have bloomed, so these are coming on really well now. So these are a lovely sort of whitey, creamy, yellowy colour. So they're doing really well. They're in ericaceous compost because they need that extra acidity, I think it is. And then these are the poppies that you've seen throughout this vlog. So they're finally coming to bloom. These are called Angelique and they're actually really lovely. They're sort of in between a peony, a rose and a poppy, and they've got a really delicate, lovely colour to them. Then I got a few plants from Asda. these were quite good. These were 3 for £5. So I got a lovely poppy, a white poppy. Then I got a echinacea. So I've wanted an echinacea for ages. I did have one about 2 years ago, but it didn't really do very well and it just died. So I'm hoping this will do better, being as in I'm in a hotter garden. So I've got this one, and I also got a clematis. So this one is Blue Angel. So this is nice blue flowers, which I thought would be a little bit of a change from the mainly white and purple and pink colours that I've got in the garden. So I thought these 3 for £5 were really good, £2 each. They seemed really good quality as well. And then I cleared the end of the garden because that was getting quite overgrown. So I cleared the end of that. I put out the compost bin and started doing that. So I started composting. So that'll be good. This is quite a sort of a bare patch of land. But mainly the shed will go on that at a later date. These are the lovely poppies called Angelique, as I mentioned just a minute ago. And you can see how they've come out and how they look like peonies really. But they were a lovely, very delicate white pink, and then they've got a yellow centre to them. So this is the area for the cutting garden, the first bed. So I managed to clear some of it here. So there's a lot of clearing that you have to do. So this took me quite a while to clear this bit of bed, or bit of grass, should I say. So yeah, and the other bit is starting to grow quite tall now, so I need to be a bit faster with the other bits because it's going to end up being quite tall. So yeah, so I cleared this, levelled it as much as I can, raked it, tried to get as many stones out as possible, and then laid the bed on the top and then filled it with 1 bag of compost. I'm not filling these right up to the top just because these will be moved once I get my greenhouse next year. These cutting garden beds will be moved to the back of the garden. So I'm only putting 1 bag of compost in these just to get them going. So that is it in place, and you can see the ones further behind it, how it will look once the grass is cleared. So this will be purely for my cutting gardens. This will be all plants will be grown from seed. So here we've got my sweet peas, which will go up the obelisk, and we've also got some stock. A couple of the plants are a little bit not as big as they should be, but I'm going to plant them out anyway and see how they go, because the others are crying out to be planted, so they needed to be done. So this is the bed planted up. So this is the stock and the sweet peas. I only did 1 sweet pea per side of the obelisk, but I may change that. I also changed the area of where the stock was going to be. I took them away from the obelisk and put them on the other side. So that's the sweet peas. And then these are the stock flowers. So the stock flowers will grow quite tall, and obviously the sweet peas will go over the obelisk. So I've got a little bit of patch of ground at the front here for something else. And then we've got an update on my wildflower bed. So as you can see, it's growing really well now. Most of the seeds have germinated. Some patches are a bit more fuller than others, but I think it will work itself out in time anyway. Here's an update of the blossom tree. So this is the first one, the discovery one. So the blossom has really all come out now. So it's looking nice. It's like a white with a pink edge to it. So that's looking really good. Then I bought this lavender. So this is one of the French lavenders. So I bought that and put that in the basket. These are the tulips that have come out. I kept saying poppy before, but they're actually tulips, which you probably would have guessed anyway. But yeah, so they're the tulips Angelique. This is the other lavender. This is the Hidcote one. And I've planted some seeds, some corn cockle seeds in this pot here. And then I've also got some scabiosa in these pots as well. I needed a bit more extra room in my little greenhouse, so I'll probably pot them in there. The bluebells coming on really well. The tulips in this pot are coming on now. So this is a lovely white one, and then this is a purple one, and they will be the feather tulips. And then I planted some osteospermum seeds in this pot. So this did have the fritillary in it, but that went over now. And then I've got some more seeds. Some of them are coming on now, so I've potted them on. So the cosmos are growing really well. And then I've got some achillea here, a one dianthus, Ami major, and some snapdragons. I've had a real mixed bag with seeds. Some have germinated loads, like the achillea here. I've got 25 of those, which I don't need. And then other ones haven't germinated at all, so I only got one dianthus out of a whole packet. So yeah, it's been a real mixed bag. I also planted my hellebore because it was in a pot, and I planted it under the apple tree just so next year it's got a bit more shade to it. And that's settled really well in there. It's grown a lot more leaves, so it seems to be quite happy there. And that's on the right hand side of the garden, so it gets a bit more shade in the afternoon. I planted out some of my Ami major seeds, or seedlings. So they have gone into the garden now because they will grow really tall. So I've staked those ready. Another update on the wildflower bed. So this is coming on really well now. You can see the actual Californian poppies by the shape of the seedlings. As you can see, some are in clumps a little bit and some are a bit more spaced out. But hopefully once it all comes up to bloom, it should all work itself out. But I'm really happy with how these have taken, to be honest. But they're in quite an open space, so they get a lot of air, sun and rain. This is the ragged robin, so this has grown really well. It's got some lovely little buds on it now. And that's on the left-hand side under the trees. So that should like it there. I've got my new poppy that I planted here. Although it's under a tree, it will get a lot of sunlight because it gets it from mid-morning all the way through till about 9 o'clock at night. So it gets plenty of sunshine. I also bought this cute little light from the local National Trust shop. My rose is coming on well. I've also got my magnolias coming on really well. And then I planted some Ami major at the back here as well. And they've come on really, really well. They've grown so much. Next to the clematis. So that's at the back there, just so that it gets shade on its roots. So that's what it needs. The big alliums are coming up. And also the woodland anemones are coming up. So that side is looking really good. It will need some mulching and compost, but it's okay for now. The peonies have got some more new shoots coming up, so that's looking good. The eurymus is coming on well, and then the small raised bed with the new grass has settled in well, so that's good. And the alliums are still growing. I haven't added anything more yet. This little viola pot's doing well. My rosemary. My Veronica's doing well. I've realised what kind of side of the garden is best to put things. The Aubrecia's doing well. This large raised bed is doing well. The grass likes it there. The little alpine section's doing well. I found some extra rocks in the garden. I've planted up some more sweet peas around that obelisk just because I was watching Gardener's World, and Monty Don put a whole bundle in each corner of his, so I thought I'd better double up on them. So I did that. I've just put some canes over the top just to stop the cat digging. So that's the first raised bed. So this is the situation of the others. So I've got to clear all this grass. So yeah, it's going to take a while. But I want to try and get 2 of the beds done just because I've already got the seeds sown for those. So these are the seeds. So these were the sunflowers. So we got 3 of one of them. We got 1 bunny tail. We did get some success on the gypsophilia. So that was quite good. But we didn't have anything for the alliums, the last 2 rows. This is the bleeding heart for the front garden and the duitza for the front garden. So they're in pots ready when I need to do the front garden, which will be in a few weeks. These are the tulips. These are the feather tulips. This is a lovely white one. This came out, so I thought I'd take a picture of it to show you. This is really pretty, and you'll be able to see from the side in a second the feather part of it. So you can see there, it's really pretty. Only one of these come up though, the feather tulips. I had another purple one that come out, but that wasn't feathered. And then out of I think there was a pack of 6, only 2 came up. So hopefully next year they'll come up. Then I planted some more seeds. So I've got some hollyhock, amaranthus, nicotiana, verbena, and some more sweet peas. So hopefully they will do better. Here's my ragged robin. You can see the flowers on it now. That started to flower, so that looks really pretty. Here are my alliums coming out. So they're not quite as tall as I thought they were going to be. I don't know whether they've not grown as much as they should this year. Because I did have to pot them on a few times in pots before the raised beds arrived. But hopefully next year they'll grow a bit taller. But they look good anyway. This one is still not out yet, but it's getting fatter. Then we've got the raised beds. You can see that I've done the second one here. So I've cleared some space, or cleared the grass for the second one. So that's in place. I just need to fill it with compost. And then I'm planting some scabiosa in here. This is not a perennial scabiosa. This is an annual one. So that's why it's going in the raised beds for the cutting garden. And then I've got 3 cosmos, just because I've got so many cosmos, I haven't got any where else left to put them. So I'm going to put them here. And then I'm going to have some Ami Major and Ami Visnaga in the bit that's empty at the moment. But they're just growing a little bit more before I plant those out. So this is planted up at the moment. So that's the second raised bed for the cutting garden. So we're getting there slowly. And then I use this pot that I showed you in a few vlogs ago. So I drilled some holes in the bottom, added some crocks, and then put some grit in just for extra great drainage. And then I've got some cosmos to go in here as well. I was going to plant like a little standard tree in here, but I decided this year I will go for the cosmos just because I've got so many of them. And it made sense just to use things that I had. So I potted that up, and I've popped that just between the large raised bed and the cutting garden bit, just so it's easy for watering. I also added in a trellis behind the clematis. So I drilled holes and screwed that into the fence, so that's all ready for when that wants to grow up a bit more. These are the woodland anemones. They've started to bud up. There's a nice big chunky bud there. And then there's one there. These I think are all different colours. So I think there's pinks, purples, blues, those sorts of tones. So they're coming up. So that's good. This one has just come out now. Well, it's not fully out, but it's come out of its pod. So that's looking good. These are the other alliums. So this is more or less up to date now. So these were filmed, I think, last week, and then at the end I filmed a clip from yesterday. So we are fully up to date now with the garden. So these are the alliums on the raised beds. So I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more and click that bell. These are all alliums as well. These are smaller little white pom-pom ones, so they'll be nice. Once these are flowered, I'm actually going to pre-plant these into the big raised bed. Then I've got all my seeds, so they've gone down a little bit because I've planted quite a lot of them. So I'm just waiting for these ones to grow a little bit more before they can go out into either the cutting garden or into the actual garden beds. So we're getting there. I've moved the violas over this side just so they get a bit of extra shade because they were struggling over on the left hand side because it was quite sunny. So this is how it's looking. This was filmed yesterday. So I've done 2 of the raised beds for the cutting garden and 2 of the big beds for just normal planting. This side is more or less done now. I'll just wait and see what the flowers turn out like this year, how much room that they need before I plant any more, although I do have a few dahlias to come in that bed. But yeah, it's all looking really good. The alpine sections are growing really well and spreading, so that's good. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and there'll be another one out next Saturday at 4 p.m. Please like and subscribe, it really helps my channel. Thank you and see you again next week. Bye for now.